I think Angel Reese, and I'm saying this with my chest out, I think she's quit on the Chicago Sky. She's been claiming a back injury basically since the All-Star break. And there's no details. Every day we hear that Angel Reese is day to day. And every week there's no update on what she's struggling with, what she's doing. There's nothing. There's no information about Angel Reese. I think she's quit on this season. I think this is a worse version than Kawhi Leonard.
The most predictable vanishing act in WNBA history is unfolding right before our eyes. Angel Reese vanishes into thin air whenever storms gather over Chicago, and shockingly, her team starts winning without her. Last season, it was a wrist fracture that magically appeared when double-doubles dried up. Now, a back injury materialized precisely when losses piled up post-All-Star break. No scans, no timeline. Just radio silence from the self-proclaimed Barbie while her teammates fight without her. If you smell something fishy about Reese's third consecutive season ending in mysterious circumstances, smash that like button and let's dive deeper.
Everybody is ablaze right now. Everybody's wondering what is really going on with Angel Reese. Has she just flat out quit again? Has she quit on the Chicago Sky? Angel, you gotta be, you have to have some level of self-aware.
This isn't normal athlete recovery protocol. It's a pattern perfected over time. Reese's current day-to-day back saga mirrors last year's wrist drama beat for beat. Remember that sudden fracture requiring immediate surgery? Promise is career-saving, yet conveniently erased a miserable losing stretch from her record. Now history repeats. Zero injury mechanism revealed. No treatment details shared. Just the same recycled evaluating updates while Chicago surprisingly claws back into contention.
Hey, look, bro, you gotta remember, she quit in Unrivaled. She just stopped playing in Unrivaled. Said she was hurt, didn't show up for the championship game, didn't even show up and watch. Last season, she claimed her wrist was messed up, didn't finish playing in none of the games. Now, this year, she's saying this season, it's her back. It looked like she's not finishing playing in none of the games. The Sky needs you. The Chicago Sky, you guys are the gum on the bottom of the shoe of the league. They need Angel Reese to play in games. Angel, where you at? Where are you at, Angel? This is not.
The timing feels scripted. When pressure peaks and losses mount, Reese's body becomes an enigma. Even her coach sounds like a hostage reading vague statements about rehab focus, a stark contrast to transparent updates on real injuries across the league. What's truly baffling is the complete absence of diagnostic clarity. Unlike standard sports injuries where teams disclose MRI results or specialist consultations, Reese's situation exists in a medical vacuum. No mention of herniated discs, muscle strains, or nerve impingements, just amorphous back soreness that somehow sidelines a professional athlete indefinitely.
Using her back as an excuse to sit out because she doesn't really care about basketball. I think she looks over at Caitlin Clark and says, hey, Caitlin Clark is out with a legitimate injury. I proved my point before the All-Star game when I went on a 10-game run trying to justify being on the All-Star team. When that first ballot came out, when the first voting results came out about the All-Star game and I was 13th, holy cow, Angel Reese panicked, started playing hard, tried to put up some stats to justify being on the All-Star team, did that, and now she said, hey, the Chicago Sky sucked this year.
This ambiguity becomes more suspicious when you consider how other WNBA stars handle injuries. Players like Breanna Stewart openly discuss rehab timelines after Achilles tears, while Diana Taurasi plays through fractured sternums. The league's physical nature makes injuries inevitable, but transparency separates legitimate recovery from strategic disappearance. Reese's case lacks even basic details. Is it upper or lower back, acute or chronic? Treatment involves therapy or injections. This information blackout fuels speculation that the injury serves as convenient cover when performance expectations outpace reality.
Once they lost Vandersloot, their point guard, early in the year, and once they started getting their brains beat in, hey, we're not going to win anything this year. I'm not putting these L's on my resume. I'm going to have an excuse for the Chicago Sky potentially coming in with the worst or second worst record in the WNBA These losses will not be on my resume.
The pattern's consistency is unnerving, always emerging during slumps, always lacking medical substantiation, always leaving teammates to explain the inexplicable. What makes this disappearance particularly suspicious? The selective availability. Reese managed a trial at Indiana for all-star festivities, flashing smiles for cameras while staging marketing stunts about taking over Caitlin Clark's territory. Yet days later, suddenly too injured to face Clark's actual team in that same city. Her back magically supported promotional appearances, but crumbled under competitive pressure.
Last year with the Chicago Sky, you quit. You quit. You threw in the towel. Once you realized you no longer, you never stood a chance, to be honest, with Caitlin Clark for that Rookie of the Year. But once you realized your double streak was over, and it was over. She took over post-Olympic break. Once you realized it was done, you threw in the towel, said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year. You threw in the towel and said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year and didn't play again. This past the inaugural season of Unrivaled, you didn't even finish that season. You didn't even show up for the championship. No, not only did you not play, you didn't even show up to the game at all. People noticing a pattern with you. That's 2 seasons.
This isn't new behavior. Rewind to the Unrivaled League's inaugural season, where Reese abruptly quit before playoffs. Not just sitting out, completely ghosting the championship game. No sideline support. No explanation. Just gone when trophies were on the line. 3 seasons. 3 unfinished campaigns. The common thread? All exits occurred when losing became inevitable. The Unrivaled incident deserves special attention. As a league co-founder, Reese's absence from its championship game wasn't just questionable, it was symbolic. Witnesses reported her attending glamorous events just hours before tip-off, raising eyebrows about priorities.
Lack of awareness combined with a lack of ability to jump, not great. Burn! Me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow. Yeah! Again, do it for me. Me bow. Burn!
This pattern extends to her Chicago commitments. While claiming debilitating back pain, she's been spotted at high-energy brand photo shoots and celebrity parties without visible discomfort. The contrast with injured peers is stark. Elena Del Don played through 3 herniated discs during Washington's playoff run, while Skylar Diggins-Smith returned weeks early from maternity leave to salvage Phoenix's season. True competitors find ways to contribute even when compromised, mentoring rookies, analyzing film, or simply showing face to boost morale.
Appears to have a legitimate injury that everybody can trace to a moment and a time during the games where she re-aggravated. She originally injured. She had a comeback where it lasted 2 or 3 games, re-injured it. They've hinted at a time frame of late August that she may return. Nothing but a mystery surrounds Angel.
Reese's complete physical and emotional withdrawal during crucial moments suggests either unprecedented medical fragility or a disturbing disconnect from team obligations. When marketing engagements consistently trump basketball duties, fans rightly question where her loyalties lie. The most damning evidence isn't in medical reports. It's on the court. Watch Chicago's offense transform without Reese. Ball movement accelerates. Shots come from flow instead of forced isolations. Role players like Dana Evans suddenly flourish with extra touches. Analysts quietly note the improved spacing and defensive rotations when Reese isn't anchoring the paint. Even the bench energizes, celebrating team baskets instead of stat-padding rebounds.
The Chicago Sky in Indianapolis on Saturday. Guess who wasn't there? Angel Reese. Angel Reese declined to travel to Indianapolis, and her coach came out and said something about, she's just focused on her rehab right now, and, she's day to day. We've never had an explanation on what caused the back injury, what's a time frame for her recovery. It's similar to so-and-so's back injury. This is something she struggled with here or there. All we've heard is day-to-day, and Angel Reese has
This isn't conjecture. The numbers scream addition by subtraction. Chicago's win percentage actually climbs without their franchise player, exposing a brutal truth. Reese's brand of basketball might be holding them hostage. Her league-leading rebound stats come at catastrophic cost. Missed box-outs, abandoned defensive assignments, and offensive sets disintegrating into get Angel the ball standstills. Statistical analysis reveals deeper issues. When Reese plays, Chicago's assist rate plummets by 18% as ball movement stagnates. Defensively, opponents shoot 7% better at the rim because she hunts rebounds instead of contesting shots. The team's net rating swings from plus 3.2 without her to minus 9.8 with her, a catastrophic 13-point differential that explains their climb up the standings during her absence. Recent games prove this isn't fluky. Against New York, the Sky dished 28 assists with 5 players scoring double digits in a Reese-less upset. Versus Connecticut, they held Jonquil Jones to 12 points through coordinated team defense, something impossible when Reese freelances for stats. Even rebounding improves collectively without her, debunking her supposed value. This evidence suggests Reese's style prioritizes individual accolades over winning basketball. Her gravitational pull toward the ball disrupts spacing, while defensive lapses force teammates into constant cleanup duty. The improved chemistry without her speaks volumes about what truly makes teams successful. Meanwhile, in Indiana, a masterclass in authentic leadership unfolds. Caitlin Clark battles a legitimate groin injury with clear timelines, yet still suits up for every game. Not just present, but dissecting plays during timeouts, rallying teammates during TV breaks, signing autographs post-loss. Her impact transcends stats, though those are historic. 16.5 points, nearly 9 assists per game while injured. Clark's culture building shows in Lexi Hull's emergence, dropping 17 points against Chicago when called upon. Unlike Reese's isolations, Indiana's ball-sharing ethos makes everyone dangerous. Kelsey Mitchell thrives off screens. Aaliyah Boston dominates paint touches. Veterans like Natasha Howard mentor without ego. This is sustainable team building, not one-woman branding exercises. Clark's influence manifests in tangible culture shifts. During her injury, she transformed into a player coach, diagramming plays during huddles and running scout team drills in practice. Her courtside intensity during fever wins became viral moments, proving leadership doesn't require uniform. This selflessness catalyzes team growth. Rookies like Celeste Taylor credit Clark's film sessions for their defensive improvements, while Boston's scoring surge directly correlates with Clark's playmaking even when sidelined. The Fever's 4-0 record against Chicago this season, with or without Clark, demonstrates systemic strength no single player can sabotage. Unlike Reese's stat-centric approach, Clark elevates through sacrifice, taking charges, setting decoy screens, and making the extra pass that won't pad her assists. This philosophy resonates league-wide. When Minnesota's Kayla McBride called Clark the ultimate competitor, she echoed sentiments from dozens of peers. The Fever's rise isn't accidental. It's proof that authentic leadership outshines empty branding every time. Reese's branding as a WNBA's must-see star collapses under data scrutiny. While her camp aggressively promotes her as a cultural cornerstone, her absences trigger negligible league-wide viewership dips. Unlike Clark, whose single-game injury breaks records. When Clark missed 5 games, Fever matchups saw 15 to 20% ratings drops, ESPN coverage dominated headlines, and social media engagement plummeted by 30%. Conversely, Reese's multiple absences barely registered beyond Chicago's local 15% attendance decline. The league's broadcast partners rarely reshuffle primetime slots for Reese-less games, signaling her limited drawing power. This disparity proves authentic star power isn't manufactured through PR. It's earned by moving needles organically. Chicago's front office relentlessly markets Reese as its franchise anchor, but advanced metrics reveal a brutal truth. She's the Sky's biggest net negative. With Reese, worst defensive rating among starters, 151st in the league, leaking 12.9 points per 100 possessions in transition. Offensive efficiency plummets 18%. Ball movement stalls, forcing teammates into isolation plays. Turnover catastrophe, 3.9 per game, second highest in WNBA. Strangling momentum. Her rebounding stats, often touted as elite, mask selfish play. She hunts boards at the cost of defensive positioning, leaving teammates exposed. Meanwhile, Clark's presence alone elevates Indiana's offense to top 3 efficiency, plus 4.4 over expected, despite her injuries. The Fever system thrives on her unselfish playmaking, while Chicago's crumbles under Reese's stat chasing. Clark's impact is quantified by a staggering plus 12-point differential per 100 possessions when she plays. The Fever outscore opponents like contenders. Without her, they revert to mediocrity, minus 0.3 net rating. Reese's splits tell the opposite story. With Reese, Sky's net rating minus 9.8, bottom 3 level. Without Reese, Sky's net rating plus 3.2, playoff caliber. Chicago's 2025 wins against playoff teams, like the upset over New York, came exclusively during Reese's back injury absences. Role players like Dana Evans and Brianna Turner flourish with balanced ball distribution, exposing Reese's ball dominance as a system killer. As one analyst bluntly noted, removing your star shouldn't make your team elite, it should make you irrelevant. Reese's value is a fiction. 4. Leadership vacuum versus culture catalyst. Reese's vanishing acts during losses, skipping road games, ghosting the unrivaled league finals, contrasts sharply with Clark's visible leadership. Despite groin injuries, Clark travels with a fever, coaching rookies during timeouts, boosts bench energy, turning losses into teaching moments, attracts double teams at free teammates for open shots, even while injured. Reese's absence bred dysfunction. Coach Tyler Marsh criticized the team's lack of urgency and slow transition defense without her, conceding 30 fast break points to Phoenix. Meanwhile, Fever coach Christy Sides praised Clark's culture resilience, noting how her presence fuels a team's identity. Leadership isn't claimed through hashtags. It's proven by making others better when the spotlight fades. Legacies aren't built on branding deals. They're forged in fire. Reese's pattern of vanishing during critical moments has become her defining trait. At LSU, she controversially sat out the SEC tournament with a lower body injury while her team battled for seeding, only to return after their elimination. During Unrivaled's inaugural season, a league she co-founded, Reese skipped the entire playoff run without explanation. Now, Chicago's playoff push coincides with her indefinite back soreness. This isn't coincidence. It's a calculated retreat from adversity. True competitors don't quit when seasons turn grim. They dig deeper. Clark embodies this ethos. In college, she played NCAA tournament games with a fractured shooting hand, gritting through pain to keep Iowa's title hopes alive. Now in the WNBA, she battles a documented groin strain while still leading all rookies in assists and mentoring Lexi Hull mid-game from the bench. Clark's public vow to win multiple championships isn't empty hype, it's backed by actions. She travels with the Fever even when sidelined, studying opponents, sets to advise teammates. This relentless presence transforms culture. As Fever coach Christy Sides noted, some players build legacies on stats. Caitlin builds them on sacrifice. The avoidance playbook exposed. Reese's opportunism peaks in high-stakes matchups. Remember her no-show against Indiana? While Clark suited up despite injury to support her team, Reese skipped the Sky Fever clash entirely. The result? Indiana crushed Chicago by 22 points, exposing Reese's irreplaceability as fiction. Her camp framed it as rehab prioritization, but insiders revealed she attended a brand photo shoot that same afternoon. This selective availability protects individual metrics. Stat padding plays weak defensive teams, e.g., 25 rebounds versus Atlanta's depleted front court. Strategic exits vanishes before matchups with elite centers, Aya Wilson, Brianna Stewart. Narrative control uses injuries to reset criticism of inefficient shooting, 38% FG. Clark faces a smoke head-on. Despite her groin strain, she guarded MVP frontrunner Alyssa Thomas for 32 minutes in a comeback win. When Indiana trailed Phoenix by 15, Clark demanded the Mitchell assignment, holding her scoreless for 9 straight possessions. These are legacy-defining moments Reese avoids. As one scout observed, you can't call yourself that girl while ducking competition. Culture calculus, what teammates see. Reese's disappearances fracture locker rooms. Sky veterans privately criticize her all-star break Instagram posts, jet skiing days after claiming debilitating back pain. Contrast Clark rehabbing at 5 a.m. with team staff, then cheering from the bench in a back brace. These choices ripple through franchises. Chicago's distrust. Sky players like social media posts questioning Reese's commitment. Indiana's unity. Fever players replicate Clark's film study routines without prompting. The ultimate humiliation? Chicago's 4-game win streak during Reese's absence. Role players thrived in her shadow. We're free to play team basketball now. One Sky Reserve anonymously confessed. No more forcing passes to covered post-ups. The verdict: manufactured stardom versus earned greatness. Reese's legacy is becoming synonymous with quitting. 3 seasons, 3 unfinished campaigns. 3 times teammates bore the burden alone. Clark's resume already features broken finger heroics, NCAA Elite 8 win over LSU, groin strain leadership, Fever's 4-0 record versus Sky in 2025, culture architect, Indiana's 400% merchandise sales spike. History remembers athletes who rise when everything burns, not those who flee the flames. Reese's branding can't mask this truth. Legacy isn't claimed in press releases. It sees in 4 quarters of must-win games, and she's never there. 2 franchises, 2 divergent paths. Indiana builds sustainably around Clark's unselfishness, adding pieces like Katie Lou Samuelson, while developing young stars. Chicago remains hostage to Reese's mystery injuries and stat chasing. The Fever now at championships. The Sky drown in day-to-day despair. Reese's disappearing act isn't just embarrassing, it exposes athlete entitlement in its rawest form. Meanwhile, Clark's resilience embodies everything great about sports. The choice is clear. Support authentic builders, not branding opportunists. If you're tired of the greatest con in W basketball history, comment "Fire the Baby Giraffe" below. Subscribe and hit notifications. We're exposing sports' biggest frauds next.